Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burr, Nick, and today, well, I'm falling back on the phone line because why not? You guys called in. I like taking your calls. It works out for me. It works out for you. So it's going to be another Ask the Pulpit. We don't have quite as many as the last time, but let's be real. As much as I loved the 7th anniversary Ask the Pulpit, there's a lot of calls. And, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about calls in any way, shape, or form. But we're going to keep this one nice and tight. We have a sufficient amount of calls. Let's put it that way. So today, I'm going to be smoking a cigar that was gifted to me by Ken over at the Ashenale. It is the, oh God, here we go, Schöelen Dunkel. The Schöelen Dunkel. It's a German cigar. It's got a, well, it's 5 7/8 by 52 with a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan filler. This thing retails for right around $20. So, it's not a cheap date, but it's not the most expensive one you can get on the market these days. Boy, isn't it going to be sad when eventually, we talk about that. For me, it used to be $8 to $12 sweet spot. Now it's $8 to $15 sweet spot. Isn't it going to be sad when all of a sudden we're just sitting back and it's like, oh yeah, it's just a $20 cigar. It's no big deal. Let's really hope we don't get to that point. Anyway, time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for over 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, going back to that $20 thing I was just talking about, and great customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you, and remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So yeah, it's one of those things. I was looking like, what do I want to smoke? And this thing stood out to me, and I was like, I've never smoked it before. So, hopefully for the fine folks at Schöelen, it's not a dog rocket. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's a wonderful cigar, and we will talk about it. But anyway, it's time to light the cigar. And while I do so, you guys can hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino. Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars use authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, now that we've got that underway, I will say right off the bat, one observation. It's obviously a slow smoke, because I was taking some draws off of it to kind of get it going, and I have this run going right off the bat. So we're going to take this one nice and easy. However, there's just enough humidity in the air that I want to make sure it stays lit. So let's jump into the phone lines. Time for a little Ask the Pulpit.
Shall we play a game? You talking to me? I have a question for you.
You gotta ask me nicely.
Ask me about my winner.
You got a question? You ask the 8-Ball.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on, indeed. You guys can jump in on the fun and do this with me next time by calling the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000, or tofu pie with no E, 0000. I take all questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, whatever you may have to level at me. It's no big deal. All righty. Let's go ahead and kick off the first call here now.
Sorry, my phone went to zero. I don't know if it's my service or what's going on there, but here's the latest update. We did hook up with Jeff, and he is great for you, and he is going to be a new valued member. Probably as of Saturday, he'll pick up his secret RFID key fob that works with our access control system. What I was saying was you have a lot of wonderful parishioners, and we are allowed to take donations as a 501c7 social club, up to 35% of our annual revenue. So that's where the crazy $7,700 number came out. But no donation is $1,000 is too much, because then we fall into having to pay taxes and
Nobody
tracking
wants to
people
do that.
down. These would be non-tax deductible donations. Long story longer. Yeah, we're tearing out the carpet this weekend. Hopefully Jeff is going to show up and do some work with us. And if not, no big deal. He is a new member. And just to harken back to what you were saying about the lost members, you are correct. Hopefully we will get some of them back. But the friends I've made at my local lounge, even though it's a secret club, etc., I've made friends for life, and it is one of the best places. And it's also the current location, the cleanest bathroom in downtown Grass Valley, and it'll probably be the cleanest bathroom in our local business park where we're moving to, because we have a weekly cleaning crew and we take care of all that stuff. So anyway, everybody stay smoky and safe. This is James, the delivery guy from Grass Valley, signing off. Bye.
James, I appreciate the call and the update. So I was talking to Paul, and he had a thought about these potato phone quality situations. Now, I don't know where you're at when you're calling me. Maybe you're in the delivery truck driving around, and maybe that's part of the problem. But, it could very well be, according to Paul, that maybe you're bouncing off of Wi-Fi and onto your cell signal, and then bouncing off your cell signal back onto Wi-Fi, and it's causing the phone call quality to fluctuate. It's one of those things where if depending upon, unfortunately, in my house, my Wi-Fi is weird. So it's one of those things, depending upon where I'm at, my phone quality can be weird. And so it's one of those things where you probably, not necessarily you, James, I don't know where you're at when you're calling, but if you're like at somewhere, maybe just either throw it off of Wi-Fi and just go with the cell signal, or go with the Wi-Fi and maybe see if that's it. I don't know. We're trying to troubleshoot. We have no clue what's going on, but it's a thought. As for the rest of it, that's cool. I appreciate that, you guys are trying to do some fundraising for your lounge there. Hopefully it works out. And boy, the importance of a clean bathroom cannot be overstated. Sometimes people are like, oh, it's nice for when the ladies come by and blah, 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 blah. Let's be real. men appreciate a clean bathroom too. We do. We don't want to go into a pigsty. I've been to many cigar lounges where, quite frankly, someone needs to be taking care of the bathroom. I don't know if a cleaning crew once a week is sufficient, but obviously you guys, have whatever setup you have and you know what you need, and, you keep it clean, and that's good. But see, I guess you don't have employees per se. So it's kind of on everybody in the club to take care of their space. But I don't know. Maybe implement a you must sit down to pee rule. Just saying, you prevent a lot of splashback if everybody's sitting down to pee. I'm not saying that I sit down to pee, but I'm just saying, it would be a way to prevent some messes, potentially. I don't know how you enforce that. Do you have a guy in the bathroom watching to make sure that takes place? That would be creepy. But it's a thought. Anyway, James, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Hopefully the carpet removal goes well and you can move on and get to the flooring. So appreciate the call, buddy. All righty. So we have another call here.
Hey, Nick, it's Paul from Texas.
What up, Paul?
Listening to the 7th anniversary Ask the Pulpit Call It episode, and I think Braden asked you the question of if you got $1 million a day to not smoke a cigar, how long could you go for?
Yeah.
And you said 3 months, I think, right? So getting about $90 million.
Give or take.
Okay. I think that's absolutely crazy. Let me be honest here. If I'm getting $1 million to not smoke a cigar, my answer is I'll never smoke a cigar again. Yeah, you were saying that, enjoyment and blah, blah, blah. Do you know how much enjoyment $1 million a day can give you? Because I don't think you're thinking about it the right way. I mean, we're talking about, private cruise ships. We're talking about private chartered airplanes, eventually being able to buy sports teams or whatever. If you want enjoyment, I promise you, $1 million can satisfy every urge you have that currently tobacco is giving you. And then you were talking about, okay, so how many cars can you have? Yeah, that's fine. You'll buy yourself as much stuff as you want, but then you'll buy your family stuff. You'll buy your friends stuff. And then you'll get to the point where everybody in your life has something amazing and it's been provided by you. But then you can keep going, because I always imagine if I got $1 billion, I'm going to literally get in my car every day and pull up to some random stranger and give him 10 grand, give him 50 grand, give him 100 grand. And how much of a difference and joy you can give to other people's lives. And yes, will it cause you a little bit of suffering because you don't get your cigar? I'll gladly trade that in to give $1 million a day to some family that needs it, to some charity. So it's worth a little bit of my suffering. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Good episode. Talk to you later.
That's a very altruistic take on it. I mean, obviously I'm kind of choosing an answer based upon the fact that I host a cigar podcast. So, I don't want to say like, oh, hey, yeah, I'd completely give up all of it for $1 million a day. But truthfully, you make a valid, compelling point. And I will say the first month is going to be the hardest. Second month will be a little easier. The third month even easier than that. And by the fourth month, it may be a situation where I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. I like this $1 million a day. So it may happen naturally. It's one of those like hypotheticals that you could do so much. But I'm also, and I'm not calling you greedy. I don't want to make it sound like I'm, calling you that, because you literally ended the call by talking about how you could help the world by spreading this wealth. But I've always said that, like, in terms of lotto winnings and things like that I don't need to hit the big jackpot. I don't even need to hit like a medium-sized jackpot. Just a small jackpot. Just something that just kind of like gave me the boost. That's all I really ever have, that's all I look for. Yeah, I look for that brown paper bag on the side of the road that's got about, turn off my alerts there, about $40,000 in it. That would be great. That would be awesome. That right there would solve so many issues for me. Nothing huge. I mean, nothing I'm not managing as it is right now. But my God, my life would be infinitely easier, which is 40 grand handed to me that I could just take care of some things and all of a sudden everything's clear. You know? Am I going to be able to retire off of 40 grand in a brown paper bag? Absolutely not. Can I even pay off my house with 40 grand in a brown paper bag? I cannot. But, it's one of those weird things. When I worked for the state, I did all right. I'm not saying that the salary was the best. The benefits, definitely. Like, it was one of those things. You were working that job for the benefits. The salary was livable and okay, but the benefits were stellar. I mean, in terms of my health care, I think the only other people in the country that had better health care than me were federal government employees. So realistically, between that, pension, et cetera, the benefits as a state employee were fantastic. But, that period of my life ended. I started the newspaper. And, it's one of those things. It took a long time to be able to start drawing a salary off of the newspaper. Truthfully, I didn't actually fully start drawing a regular, consistent salary off of the newspaper until I absolutely had to when I got a divorce. It was just one of those things that it was a 2-income household. It worked out well. I did draw some finances from it, but it wasn't like I was like consistently every month drawing what I needed to live. I started doing that once I got divorced, and I had to do that to pay bills. And so, I sit here now and look, could I make more cuts to my lifestyle and my budget? Absolutely. Absolutely. But in terms of what I was 12 years ago, 12 years ago. In terms of what I was 12 years ago, I'm living lean. And so I don't feel the need to have all that, I'm a portly man of size. Less size than I was a year ago, but still a portly man of size. Sports cars are just unfortunately not made for me. They don't make, when will they make a sports car for the husky gentleman? It's that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just, and I don't know. I'm not saying that I wouldn't love the good life. I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to be able to just do absolutely nothing. That's the thing. Some people have this retirement plan of I want to, retire from my career so that I can go do this fun project and blah, blah, blah. I have no projects. My only project is to read the mountain of books that I have accumulated over the years in there that I've not had time to read. Otherwise, I have no projects. I don't want to do anything in retirement. I just want to sit around, have my cigar, read a book, maybe have a nice breeze coming in, and call it a day. I just want to chill. That's all I want. I'm a very simple individual in that regard. And so, taking it back to Braden's question, yeah, I could go for 3 months. Hell, I could go for 6 months. I could go for a year. I could go for a couple years. But at some point, I'm giving it up. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to have a cigar and I'm going to call it a day. Because it's just something I enjoy. And while yes, arguably, let's just hypothetically say, I'm not even going to, never mind. I was going to put a amount and say how, arguably I have so many more years left on this planet. I'm not going to do that to myself. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just, I don't need it. I guess that's it. And maybe I'm taking this fun hypothetical question just a bit too seriously, and I need to chill out and, dream big. But I already did a whole episode about what I would do if I hit like some mega jackpot lotto thing. I'm not flashy like that. And I'm not criticizing anybody who is, because, hey, it's your money. You do you. And I love the fact that you would just go around and just randomly make other people's lives wonderful. Because, again, as somebody who's sitting here saying, if I found a brown paper bag with $40,000 on the side of the road, it would make my decade. But, that's not where we're at. And we'll just keep going. So anyway, but I appreciate it, Paul, because you look, man, I'm not saying you don't make a compelling argument. You make a very compelling argument. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if I wanted to stop smoking cigars, I could stop right now with the Schöelen Dunkel. But I'm not. I like it too much, and I respect that, and I'm just going to keep going with it. So anyway, I appreciate the call, buddy. All righty. Moving on. Another call here.
Hey, Nick, this is Tom.
What up, Tom?
I called you, I think, last summer or the summer before about getting a screen and some advertising money for when you do your show, instead of showing ladders and stuff in your garage.
Yeah.
You're losing money. You could have an Aladino sign back there. Love Aladino. Happy 7 year. The reason why I listened to your show, I guess I was listening to Cigar Authority. They told me, mentioned you. I was listening to you on the way back from bringing my son back from RIT. And I'm driving on the New York State Thruway, and it was the Trey Mack episode with the crows. And I literally almost fucking pissed myself driving, because that was by far the funniest episode. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. It might have been the funniest episode ever, with the birds chasing him around. I think you should have, like, one day you want to take off, have a best of, because now I got to hear about the story where you lift your belly up and put it on a girl's side. I need to hear about that story, because that intrigued me just listening to your show today. All right. And $1 million, I would definitely do smoke 6 days, take one off. if I could jump on the wagon train again. Or I could probably do the same as you, take off the whole winter from, say, November to April.
Oh, you're going bigger. You're going 6 months.
That'd be a nice chunk of change. All right. Congratulations again.
Tom, thank you so much for the call. And yes, no, you did call. You did talk about the screens. You talked about all that. And look, I have grand plans. I have all sorts of grand plans. But unfortunately, nobody's offered me $1 million to not smoke a cigar for a day. Because, one day of not smoking a cigar, and I could have the best studio you've ever seen in your life. It's just one of those things I haven't set up. Realistically, this garage is set up weird in that the bench that I record this at faces the wall. So, like, right now, I am looking at the wall with a window in front of me, and, the smoke goes out that window through the window fan. If somehow or another I could just pivot it, just like spin it around to where I was facing back this way. If I were facing my car and I had the window behind me to where I could put like a fan in front of me that would blow the smoke towards the window fan. If I could somehow do that, then it would be so much easier. But like right now, I would need some sort of a stand, and then it becomes a matter of tearing down the stand to putting up the stand. And I don't mean to sound lazy, but it's a lot of work to do something like that. And I don't have a ton of space in here. My grand plan, Tom, if once again, If I found a paper sack with $40,000 on the side of the road, I could take 15 of that. And there's a nice shed that I have seen that I could get put in the back corner of my lot. Right now there's a pergola there. Nobody uses it. It's taking up space. And quite frankly, the plants that were planted around it by the previous owner of this house, they've all been overtaken and at some point gotten weed whacked down. So like, it's not even like it's like a fancy looking pergola at this point. I don't have a green thumb. The lady that lived here before me, she did. And if she drives by here, I'm sure she curses me under her breath because all of her pretty flowers, I don't do anything to maintain them. So if they're still living, they're living out of sheer will of their own, not anything that I'm doing. But I would love to put that shed there because it's right by an electric pole, so I could run the electric down to it. And I would outfit that shed. They've got these wall units that you see. Sometimes you see them in hotel rooms, and it's an air conditioner and heater unit. I could have that thing humming with AC and heat to where it doesn't matter what time of year, doesn't matter how hot or cold it is outside. I could still be nice and comfortable. And man, I would outfit that thing. It would be a sick little studio and smoking area. I would love it so much. That's my grand plan. Whether or not that comes to fruition, we'll see. Maybe one day. It'd be nice. Not to mention the fact that right now in my life, there's other things that money needs to go towards, you know? But you never know. You never know. So one day I will put that to good use and, have a nicer studio. But for right now, it's that cozy, casual, it's a dude coming to you from his garage kind of a show. So we got that going on. As for Trey Mack and the Crows, I love it, and I give him shit about it all the time. It's funny, the last time I was down at the European Village where Ash and Ale's at, I was sitting out in front of Vincent's clubhouse there, and these blackbirds, or this one blackbird, landed kind of near me. And I had gotten my son a pie from McDonald's, and he wasn't interested in it. So I took some of the crust and I tossed it at the bird. And the bird loved it. Came back looking for another piece. So I gave him a second piece. By the third piece, I held that piece out and that bird took it from my hand. That was the end of that. Bird flew away. The next day, sitting back out there, bird comes back, but this time with two friends. And we had something. I don't remember what. So I fed the birds again. By the last day that I was there, I had a flock of about 8 of these birds showing up, and I'm feeding them all. And my goal is, by Pulpit Fest, to have a complete murder of blackbirds ready to do my bidding so that when Trey Mack arrives, I can just be like, there he is. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I think it's funny. It's definitely freaking Trey Mack out that I did that. He's questioning my sanity for messing around with the blackbirds. So I am amused greatly. We'll see how that continues. But anyway, I appreciate the call, Tom. Thanks. All right. We got another call here.
Nick, Craig, cigarcraig.com.
What up, Craig?
Schöelen. Anyway, just wanted to call in, wish you a happy 7th anniversary. Congrats on the 7th anniversary. It's quite an accomplishment. Glad to listen to you. As I told you when I interviewed you a couple of years ago at the TPE, I was hesitant to start on listening to a Cigar Pulpit podcast because I didn't want to be proselytized to, but thankfully your show is an invite. So, congrats. Glad to listen to you every twice a week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for the call, Craig. By the way, if you guys aren't checking out Cigar Craig, he's been around for a long time. He has a great blog, cigarcraig.com. And he's just a great guy. I met him at TPE, and he's a very low key, chill dude, but he knows his cigars, and he's a good guy to know. So check out his blog. But Craig has been a great listener. He pops onto the Zoom herfs sometimes, and he's always got something unique to smoke, which I think is fun. I think it's pretty cool. But no, dude, I I remember you telling me that, and let me tell you, it's like I told you then. My show is about as far from proselytizing in church as you can get. We're not, running with the devil here, but we're definitely not. It is a tongue-in-cheek church situation here. It's cigar church. We're having cigar church. But yeah, it's super chill. But no, guys, check out Cigar Craig. He's a good dude. Thanks for the call, Craig. All right, and then we got this caller. This is the last caller, but he called twice, so we will see what we have here.
Hey, listened to the episode with you and Mac, and a little thing that flipped under the radar, I guess, is you were a cat owner. I'm going to second think our friendship here. Please tell me it's your ex-wife's. Talk to you later. Bye.
Well, Shawn, you didn't introduce yourself, but I know it was Shawn. I don't remember talking about a cat, but I'll be honest. That 3 hours with Trey Mac that came out earlier this week, I don't remember. We talked about so much through that episode that truthfully, I could have said all kinds of horrible, wretched things, and I don't remember. But yes, I was a cat owner at one time. At one time, at its peak in my household, there was a dog and 3 cats, which was a lot. The cat. So yes, the cat was definitely all the pets, quite frankly, were influenced by my ex-wife. But we had this dog, and at the time we were living in an apartment, and when we would go to work, we'd come home and we would have found that the dog would have just torn the place up and shit all over. I mean, it was truly unfortunate. And that went on for a while. It got to the point we were locking the dog in the bathroom while we were gone, and he would shit in the tub, which was probably the best possible place he could do so, because at least then it was just a simple matter of picking up the little turds and throwing them in the toilet and flushing them, and then getting the shower head and, running the hot water and run some soap and scrub it and clean the tub. So I had a very clean tub going there for a while. I mean, clean about 50% of the time and shitty the rest of the time. But anyway, but at some point or another, she decided she wanted a cat, and she convinced me that perhaps having a cat would chill the dog out, because he's obviously like having separation anxiety. He's flipping out, blah, 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 whatever. So we got a cat, and I'll be damned if it didn't help with the dog. It helped a lot with the dog. And admittedly, it was a good cat. He wasn't an asshole. He was pretty chill. I liked him. He was cool. We had a good time. Then we moved to the house she's still in. And I was working for the state at the time, and my coworker, her husband found a little kitten, dinky little kitten, in the ditch. Took it to the vet. So one day, that same day, Chris and I are getting ready to go to lunch, and she's like, hey, we need to swing by the vet real quick. I want to check on this kitten. I'm like, okay, fine. So we go, and we get there, and she's like, come in with me. And I'm like, all right, fine. You're going to be a minute. So we go in. They bring the cat out, She's looking at it. Next thing I know, she's shoving it in my chest. She's like, isn't she cute? And forces me to hold this thing. And dude, it was like the size of the palm of my hand. And truthfully, that one was on me. I cannot blame my ex-wife for that one. That one was on me. It was a very sweet little cat, and she was wonderful. And so, yes, we adopted that little cat. So now we're up to 2 cats and a dog. And I'm thinking, done, right? Until one night, we get home from somewhere. Or no, I was already home. My ex-wife got home from somewhere. And as she's pulling in the driveway, next thing you know, she stopped in the cul-de-sac. Car parked in the cul-de-sac. Gets out of the car. Does something. Comes inside, goes in the garage and does something, and then pulls her car into the driveway. Come to find out, there was a cat in the cul-de-sac, a little kitten that was starving, sickly. So we take it to the vet, post pictures online saying who's missing a cat. Nobody's missing a cat. And it turns out, well, now we have cat number 3. Now that cat was orange. The 2 previous cats were all black. But the dog, he was a chow mix, and so he was orange as well. So we had Team Orange and Team Black. And that was how it was for a while. 4 animals in one house. And it was a lot. And I hated it. It was too much. Cleaning out the litter boxes was a nightmare. But, I'm a soft touch. I am a soft touch for the critters. And so, anyway, we flash forward to the end of 2019. The dog at this point is 15 years old. 15 or 16 years old. Had a lot of issues. And so, finally, it came time for the dog to cross the Rainbow Bridge. And so, that took place on a Saturday. And I hated that. It's one of the... I don't want another critter. That was a lot. And then that was on Saturday. My ex-wife went out of town on Monday. And by Wednesday, I was taking the orange cat to the vet because she was hiding underneath the bed, lethargic, looked like fucking death. Bring her in. They give me some medicine. I'm injecting medicine into her throat, not like a needle, but a dropper. That continues till Saturday. The cat looks horrible the whole time. Finally, Saturday, the cat's really fucking bad. So I'm like, oh my God. So I take her to the vet. And by the time I get to the vet, she's already passed away in the carrier. That was how it went. And so in the space of a week, Team Orange was gone. And it was just Team Black. And Team Black was there when I left the house in March of 21. And I'll be honest, I don't know the current status of Team Black. I would assume, based upon the amount of time, the first cat has probably crossed the Rainbow Bridge as well. The second cat, she might still be hanging on, although quite frankly, we're getting close to expiration date on that one. So anyway, that's the story of my pets. And at this point, like I said, I don't think I need pets. I did it. It is what it is. Pets are in my opinion, pets are a retirement thing. That if you are not planning on traveling, if you're going to be relatively homebound, and you got the time, that's when a pet is nice. But if you've got a life, I travel too much. Back and forth to Florida and shit. And, I got a lot going on to where I don't have the time for a pet. I don't have the energy for a pet. And I certainly don't have the money for a pet. So, yeah, I'm not going to get another pet. It's just one of those things. I'm fine. And I actually really do enjoy not having a bunch of hair all over my house. I enjoy not having random messes that I have to clean all over my house. It's nice. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a pet. If you were out there and you're like, oh my God, he hates dogs and cats. I love dogs and cats. I will admit. Well, not all cats. I don't like the haughty ones. They got to be the sweet ones. And those are few and far between. But anyway, yeah. So there's the story of the cat there, Shawn. So, and it looks like you called back. So let's see what other shit you're gonna give me.
So many topics with Trey Mack. Great episode. Hey, I was thinking about Trey Mack's Tough Mudder, where he ran his race with a mouth of Big Red chewing tobacco. I once did a bike race with my cigar, and to be, I don't know, noticed or whatever, we were doing a local Tough Mudder, and I wore a shirt that said, I beat anorexia. So afterwards, they're like, I changed out of it because it was wet and everything. But people were like, hey, did you see that guy with the I beat anorexia shirt on? Anyways, great episode. Bye.
What an asshole. That guy, oh my gosh, I can't believe he would wear something like that out and about. I could totally see you doing something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it with you guys wanting to do exercise with tobacco products, be it either the chewing tobacco or bike racing with a cigar. That just seems like you're just asking for trouble. I personally thought the whole concept of the Tour de Donut, where you're riding a bike and having to eat donuts at various stops, sounded like a horrible idea. But you guys, you're just like, we're going to take it and we're going to go even further and we're going to smoke or chew tobacco. And then for him to be doing that as he's like talking about shimming on his back through a pipe, and it's just it just sounded like just the worst idea ever. But whatever. What can I say? It's Trey Mack. It doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. So there's that. All right, guys. Well, that would be this Ask the Pulpit. I appreciate the calls. There were definitely a lot of topics in that Trey Mack episode. Like I said, we bounced all over the place, and there's already been some comments in the parishioners group on Facebook about, how there's so many things to be unpacked in that. So I fully anticipate that there will be more calls about that show. Maybe not. I don't know. I never know with you guys. But that would definitely be one to study. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack in that episode. Anyway, you guys can get your calls in on the next Ask the Pulpit by calling me on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. So I'm about halfway on the Schöelen Dunkel here. And it's a pretty smooth cigar. Like, the smoking experience of it, it's not super heavy. It's not very spicy. I mean, there's just a little bit to it. It's actually a very smooth and easy Maduro. I anticipated this to be like this, like, strength bomb. But so far it's not kicking me with that. I'm going to try a retrohale here, and I might regret it because I don't know. That's where the spice is at. Okay. So yeah, you get that burst of spice in the retrohale there, but realistically, it's a really smooth, kind of elegant cigar. Look, $20. I'm not saying I would smoke this all the time, but if I were looking for a really high-end Maduro that smoked really nice, I would do the Davidoff Maduro. But if I wanted to save a little bit of money and get a really high-end, nice Maduro that smoked really nice and didn't cost as much as the Davidoff Maduro, this Schöelen Dunkel is definitely in the contenders for that spot. It's good. I enjoy it, actually. So we'll see what the final third has, assuming we get to that while I'm actually recording. That's the thing with doing these solo ones, is I'm talking so much that I'm not smoking, so I don't get to like the final third of the cigar very often by doing this. That at least with the calls you guys give me smoking time. When I'm on with a guest like Trey Mac, I have smoking time. But when I'm doing this by myself like this, I don't have the smoking time because nobody wants to hear me just being quiet. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Alrighty, guys. Well, I still haven't watched Lanterns. I'm probably going to do what I talked about with Trey. I'm probably going to let that bank up for a few episodes so that I have a few to binge. I always have to dodge spoilers when I do that because, man, the internet loves spoiling shit. But I've gotten pretty good at it. I mean, I'm going to say this, and this is not some sort of permission for all of you to decide to find ways to spoil it for me. But I have a feat that I've accomplished over the years that it started off just totally innocent. Now it's kind of like one of those things that I'm sadly kind of proud of, and I'm keeping going just because it's the longer I go, the more interesting it gets to me, at least. So when I was in college, that's when Harry Potter was blowing up big. And it really, that was right about the time that I think the movies maybe started coming out. And so the 5th book came out when I was in college. And so, I bought the 4 previous ones and I read through them fairly quickly. They're easy reads. They're thick, but they're easy reads. And then the 5th one came out and I read that. Well, then I had this big gap of time between when that came out and the 6th book came out. And by the time the 6th book came out, I bought it, but I didn't jump on reading it right away. Life had gotten in the way. And so I didn't jump on reading it right away. Well, then inevitably the 7th and final book came out. And I didn't jump on reading that either, obviously, because I hadn't read the 6th book. I've only seen the first 2 movies. I stopped after the 2nd movie. So I sit here right now saying that I do not know how Harry Potter ends. I don't know the ending to that whole saga. And I have somehow, some way, managed to dodge spoilers. Except for, obviously, the one death that takes place in book 6, because, that became a meme and it was impossible to avoid. But everything else, like anything having to do with book 7 or anything, I have no idea how Harry Potter ends. Now, again, this is not permission for you guys to suddenly find a way to spoil it for me and to ruin it. But what this is, it's just one of those things that I'm kind of sadly proud of the fact that I've managed to go, I don't know, almost 20 years without having one of the biggest franchises to come out post 2000 spoiled for me. One day I'll read it, but not today. So anyway, so that's my only problem with banking up episodes for shows, is that I have to dodge spoilers all over the place, and my algorithm knows I'm into nerd shit, and so it's like, hey, did you check out Lanterns? This is all you need to know about the new episode, blah 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 blah. And it's like, stop it. which leads me to what I have been watching this week. So Ted Lasso came back on Apple TV, and I love Ted Lasso. And I liked Ted Lasso before the World Cup, so everyone's like, oh my God, another soccer thing. Ted Lasso, take the soccer away. It's a wonderful show. It's heartwarming. It's got really good like leadership lessons in it. It's got really good life lessons in it. It's one of those shows where when you get done watching an episode, you generally feel pretty good about yourself and the world a little bit. It's kind of hokey in that regard, but I like it. And I remember burning through the 3 seasons, and when it ended, I was like, oh, well, okay, that's the end of that, blah, blah, blah. And I wish it could have kept going, but, you know, it's over. And admittedly, the 3rd season was perhaps a little weaker than the previous first 2, but, you know, it still was good. And then they brought it back. And so now season 4 is out, and Ted Lasso's fucking everywhere again. As with all streamers, they're trickling it out 1 episode a week, you know. And so I think 2 of them are out at this point. And that's just not enough for me. They're like half an hour episodes. That's not nearly enough. So I'm waiting. I'm banking them up, and I'm letting them bank up so that I can sit and I can binge a nice big chunk of it. So in the meantime, though, because it's been a minute since I watched it, I started watching the original 3 seasons. And I watched through the first season, and it's great. And now I'm just starting I'm like 2 episodes in on the 2nd season now. And just some of the freaking bizarre, wacky shit. But at the same time, some of the like I said, the life lessons, man, you know, like the most recent episode, Jamie Tartt's back playing for Richmond, and all of his teammates are pissed off because Jamie was an asshole when he left Richmond. And so like they're all mad at Ted, and they're mad that Jamie's back. And you just know before it's all said and done that everybody's going to have made up and, you know, whatever. And that's good, because sometimes you get put in a position where you have to work with somebody that maybe you didn't like, and if you figure you come together and you figure it out. I don't know, or maybe you don't. Maybe you hate them forever and you just have this deep-seated resentment. I don't know, but yeah. So I've been watching Ted Lasso and catching back up on that, so that theoretically by the time I'm done watching the first 3 seasons, I figure maybe about half of the 4th season will be out, and then I can just go ahead and start, you know, binging that and catching up on what I've missed so far. So yeah, that's what I'm doing there. And it also, quite frankly, it's one of those shows where if you sit and you analyze it, there's so much to unpack, but you can also sit and just blow through an episode and have a good time, and by the end of it, you're like, yeah, that was nice, you know. So that's what I've been watching. So nothing super thrilling, but at least it wasn't soccer games, and it wasn't wrestling. So you've got something at least kind of different there. Anyway, let's do this now.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week, and let me bring up my list so that I can look it over and determine what I want to highlight. The first one that I want to highlight is the Buffalo 10 Broadleaf from Artista. I don't know how many of you were paying attention when you were watching the Tramac episode. If you were watching the videos, I went through 3 cigars in that episode. The first cigar I had was that Aladino Lounge exclusive Robusto. From there, I went to an Aladino Corojo Robusto. And at that point, my little desk area here didn't have any more Aladino cigars. And so it's like, well, I'm moving on to something else. And so I grabbed the new Buffalo 10 Broadleaf. And it was a wonderful smoking experience. It had nice flavor. It burned really well, and I enjoyed it. It's definitely a nice addition to that line. So if you like broadleaf tobacco, and you like a cigar at a decent price point, look at the Buffalo 10 broadleaf. It's nice. The only thing I truly dislike about that cigar, and anybody who's listened to this for any period of time knows, I'm not a big box press fan. And that cigar is not only box pressed, it is like wafer thin box pressed. It's a very, very like rectangular, flat, thin box press. And so the shape of that cigar just pisses me right off. But I deal with it because they're good and they're affordable, and I like that. And so sometimes you just gotta put up with it. But anyway, that was one. The next one that I'm going to highlight is the J.C. Newman Angel Cuesta. I've had a box of those in my humidor. Holy shit, well, I was living in the duplex when I got it, so we're probably talking at least 2 years. Well, it'd be over 2 years by now. I either got it in early 2024 or 2023, and it's just a wonderful cigar. Very thin wrapper on it, very light wrapper. The cigar itself is relatively mild and light. And I had it one morning with coffee watching TV, and it's just, it paired wonderfully. Age helped that cigar a lot. And I'm not picking on J.C. Newman for it or anything, but age, a couple of years in the humidor really helped that one a lot. I remember when I first got that box and I smoked one, and I liked it. But that wrapper was so incredibly fragile, and the smoking experience was kind of hurt by that fragility, because it just cracked constantly. And I don't know how the age would have helped with that aspect, but it did somehow. That cigar is nowhere near as fragile now. And so I'm able to cut it and smoke it, and it's not having cracks or pops or any weird shit going on like it used to. So there's that. And I also think the flavor's kind of like, blended nicely. It's kind of like when you have pasta. When you first get that plate of pasta at the restaurant, it's good. But when you take home the leftovers and they sit in the fridge for like, we'll go 2 days. We'll go 1 day, and then 2 days later, you get it out and you heat it up and you eat it. The flavors have just melded together so wonderfully and become this little like cornucopia of just awesomeness. And I think that's what happened with that Angel Cuesta. So I don't know how long J.C. Newman ages that cigar after it's rolled. But in my personal opinion, and I'm not telling them how to do their job because they obviously have been at it a whole lot longer than me and they know what they're doing. In my personal opinion, I think whatever Angel Cuestas they might be making now, assuming they're even still making it, now that I think about it, I don't know. I assume they are. Whatever Angel Cuestas they're rolling now, stick them in an aging room for like 2.5, 3 years. And then release them, and they're going to be just that much better than they currently are. Just my 2 cents. It is what it is. I don't want to like come across as some expert, but it's in my experience, that thing is smoking so much better now than it did before. And finally, the last one that I am going to highlight, is one that well, I'm not going to do that. I was going to double check something, but I'm just going to, I'll double check that. I might include that on the next list because I had one that surprised me, but I think it's one that, quite frankly, I think I kind of shat on it in one of the Stars reviews, and I didn't care for it. And for whatever reason, I had one, and it obviously came in a show pack, a Cigar Authority show pack, because I would not have, I would not have bought one if it's what I think it is, because I did not care for that. Hang on. Yeah, Group C. Here it is. All right. So what cigar? This is Cigar 13C. Let me see if I can find my review here on my phone, because man, I don't think I have it. Yeah. Okay. I got one more place I can look. I don't remember what I gave it as a score, is my point. But if I can find it, doesn't look like I'm going to find it easily. I'm sorry, guys. This is horrible show prep and planning, but I was hoping that I'd be able to track it down, but it doesn't look like it's going to be quite that simple. No, it's not. Well, anyway, it was the HVC Hot Cake Golden Line. It's their hot cake with does it even say in the no, it does not. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say what the wrapper and everything is on in this review. If I'm right, I think I shat all over this one. Oh wait, here's a link to buy it on Two Guys, so that'll tell me. Okay, so yeah, it's a Connecticut, Nicaraguan binder and filler with an Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper. I'm not confident, but I'm fairly certain I did not like this cigar initially when I did this review. I'm pretty sure I was none too kind to this one. But I had this one in the humidor, and just the other day I wanted something to smoke again, sit with my coffee. I just wanted something light when I was having my coffee in the morning, and I saw that. And I remember thinking, I think that's the one. And damn it, there went the Dunkel. I remember thinking, there went there. I think that's the one that I didn't like. And it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to smoke it to get rid of it. I'm going to smoke it to get it out of the humidor. And I will say this before I, continue. I love HVC. I love the hot cake. The fresh out of the oven is amazing. I like HVC. That golden line did nothing for me at all. And it had a lot of Connecticut bitterness, if I recall. And so it was one of those things that I saw this and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll smoke it with my coffee and I'll just get through it and it'll be on the list and that'll be that. It burned wonderfully. I didn't get any bitterness issues from it whatsoever. It lasted quite a long time. It paired nicely with my coffee. I had a wonderful smoking experience with that cigar. So for what it's worth, I may have been unkind to the HVC Golden Line when I reviewed it for the Stars reviews. It got, I think, like an 88. Oh, Lord, I closed the tab. There it is. 88.2. Overall strength score of 3.27. So it did okay in the review. Personally, I think I may have brought that down with my review. I know I brought it down with my review. But if the ones that I reviewed would have smoked like that one that I smoked the other day, it wouldn't have been that score. It would have been higher because I would have scored it higher. So for what it's worth, the HVC Golden Line, a Hotcake Golden Line, redeemed itself in this instance with me, and I did enjoy that, and I wanted to give that its due credit because I have not shat on too many cigars in the Stars reviews. I think I've only had maybe like 2 out of the like 30 something that we've done that I haven't enjoyed. That one, for whatever reason, I was surprised when I found out what it was. But yeah, it smoked really well when I smoked it out of my humidor the other day. So again, I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was part of a show pack. And I just who knows. Anyway, for what it's worth, I did enjoy that one. So alrighty, guys. Well, it's that time where I tell you that I'm available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group. Request access and get in on that. I'm on Twitter/X. I am on YouTube and Rumble if you want to watch this and see my garage that Tom was talking about. You can call into the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Leave me your comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, whatever you want. I just want to talk to somebody, and this is a good way of doing that. The Cigar Chronicle newsletter, you can head on over to cigarpulpit.com. Little box pops up. You can put in your email address on that, and whenever I get the next one put together and sent out, it'll hit your inbox. And then finally, I keep saying it, there are still some Pulpit Fest tickets available. If you happen to be sitting on the fence, maybe you're like, what am I going to do in October, the beginning of October? Come on down to Pulpit Fest. October 1st through the 4th in Palm Coast, Florida at Ash and Ale. It's going to be a wonderful time, and you can come. You can hang out with parishioners. We're going to have games and prizes and all kinds of fun stuff. It's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun. And so if you're interested in that, the general admission tickets are $35. You get 30 of it back in in-store credit at Ash and Ale. So it's really $5 plus the taxes and fees that Eventbrite charges. So it's like, I think it's right around $10 for the ticket at this point when you take that into account. But when you're on cigarpulpit.com, signing up for the Chronicle newsletter, you can look at that first post. There's a picture of the poster there. Click on that. Takes you to eventbrite.com. You can buy your ticket there, and you're all set. And come on down. I'm sure there's probably still some places in the European Village that are available to rent for the weekend. If not, there's a place called Legacy, which is just up the road. It's like 2 minutes away. And really nice, like vacation, like condos. Very affordable. They have a nice pool, and you can come and stay there. But it's a fun time. We're putting together all kinds of good stuff, and it's going to be fun. So if you're on the fence, maybe you live in Florida and you're thinking, do I want to drive up to Palm Coast for that weekend? Yes, come up and visit us. It's going to be great. You're going to have a wonderful time. Anyway, that's that. Well, guys, I did not make it to the final third of the Dunkel. I am still at about halfway on the Dunkel. But again, if you're looking for an easy Maduro, smokes wonderful. Probably would stay lit well if I was actually smoking it properly. And has some spice to the retrohale, but not so much on the smoking experience. I would recommend this. I would recommend this to somebody. If somebody asked me what's a really good Maduro and they didn't mind spending $20 on one, I would recommend it. I think I just maybe singed a hair on my knuckle. That was fun. Anyway, so yeah, I'm digging the Dunkel. So, guys, thank you so much for your calls. I always appreciate it. You've been such a big help this summer with helping me have content to be able to call in like this, because life's been so busy, and doing 2 a week, which admittedly is a cross that I put upon my own back. But it's nice. It's I enjoy hearing from you guys. I enjoy, hearing about what's going on at your lounge, in your life, whatever. Your suggestions to help make the show better, and a little bit of grief for owning a cat. I appreciate all that. But anyway, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to call me. It's greatly appreciated. Well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody stay safe and stay smoky.